Hi folks, welcome to this Flying Scotsman video. Now in this video I want to do something a wee bit different actually. This I guess is kind of a life blog, if you will. And in my Christmas video about Windows 2.03 I did mention that I was having a couple of quite interesting health issues, and I thought it would be a nice idea to kind of talk a bit about those. And just, you know, to kind of let you all know what I'm going through, and, you know, so I can add another excuse to the bank of excuses as to why I'm not a good YouTube creator, and I'm kidding on about that, of course. And also to kind of help anyone else who might be going through something like this. So, you know, if hopefully you can derive any kind of joy. Hopefully, if you can derive any kind of positive things out of this video, then, well, I will have done my job. So, let's start from the very beginning, a very good place to start. For those of you who don't know, I have been suffering with depression basically since 2010, when it was properly diagnosed, and since then I've been taking different types of antidepressants on and off since between then and now. In 2010 I kind of started off on fluoxetine, which, to be honest, I kind of found would make me angry, and it also made me quite tired. In fact, to be honest, a lot of the antidepressants have. Then I went on mirtazapine, which, to be honest, was, well, it was horrible, if I'm going to be completely honest. I kept having nightmares on it, and I could never really properly feel awake. I just kind of felt like a zombie. I felt so much like a zombie that, to be honest, I thought that my next holiday was going to be at the Whispering Oaks theme park from the Left 4 Dead 2 universe. That's how much of a zombie I was feeling like. But I decided to kick that one into touch pretty quickly. But then, in the spring of 2011, I started on citalopram. I was on that till about 2014, and since then I've been on sertraline. The thing about my antidepressants, though, is I've noticed that I'm feeling a hell of a lot more tired, sluggish, lethargic, which, you know, kind of usual symptoms of depression for a lot of people. And for people who don't have depression or who've never experienced depression, it's something that could actually be quite possibly alien if you ever kind of start off with depression. It's not just about feeling down. It's more, you know, it's kind of more physiological than that, really. You just lose interest in everything, and, you know, sometimes attention can, you know, be hard to keep. I find it a lot more difficult nowadays to focus on tasks than I did before my depression started. So where before I could spend hours playing a game, I'm not able to do that as much. The only game I've really been able to do that with in recent years is Grand Theft Auto 5, and that is because that is a beautifully immersive game. And, you know, it's just so easy to get lost in it. But anyway, one of my former lecturers at university, I actually became friends with outside of university, and they suggested that I actually decided to. They suggested that I should possibly go for a vitamin D deficiency test, because in the north of Scotland, especially in the wintertime, we really don't get much daylight, actually. Certainly in the dead of December, it's not properly fully daylight until about 10 o'clock in the morning, and then it starts getting dark again at 2:30, 3 o'clock, and is usually pretty much fully dark by 4 p.m. Always reminds me of that that scene in Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 1, The Simpsons, where he said, who here has seen the sunset at 3 p.m? Well, I've never seen the sunset at 3 p.m, but I have certainly seen it set at 3:27 p.m. in December. So, back to what I was saying. I was told to go and get a vitamin D deficiency test. And so that's what I did. And it was kind of a good thing that I did that. Well, first of all, before any of that happened, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself a bit here. First of all, before any of that happened, I had went back to my doctor at the beginning of 2016, just complaining of genital tiredness and, various other kind of issues. And he actually referred me on for some blood work, to kind of rule out anything like, a thyroid issue and, or even diabetes. Well, luckily I don't have diabetes. That is a good thing, I think. I know several people who do, and it really can actually affect your life in quite a number of ways, can diabetes. And I've not really ever given it any thought just as to how much it could affect your life, and especially if it goes unmanaged. You could lose your sight, you could lose limbs. It's really not a nice condition to have. Luckily, I don't have diabetes. However, I do have, I think it's I can't remember which it is, but it's the thyroid condition that can, cause things like weight gain and hair loss and what have you. So I was diagnosed with that in 2016 and have been taking levothyroxine ever since. Now, I went for a vitamin D deficiency test back in the late summer of last year, and they actually found that I was lacking. But not only that, they sent me for parathyroid tests, because they found actually that my calcium levels were quite high. And so I've been taking a vitamin D supplement, and I think in a way it's kind of starting to work. I'm spending a bit more time awake. Some days I kind of feel very much awake, and that I feel like I can actually sustain myself, but some days I just kind of feel that I can't sustain it all, and that I just have to go to bed. And it's like, what is this? I'm up and about, but I'm tired as hell. What's going on? But apparently, I do have a vitamin D deficiency. It's a good thing that I went for that test, because, now that they found this parathyroid issue, it's the parathyroid is hyperactive and obviously too much calcium, and that can happen when it's swollen. Now, at the moment, I'm undergoing a few tests to determine, just where we're at. Now, the calcium levels did go down a bit from the last, between, I think, October and December. The parathyroid levels went down between October and December, very slightly. So the doctors aren't worried. But at the same time, I am going through some diagnostic tests just to see where we're at. So on Thursday this week just gone, I actually had a parathyroid test. Well, I actually had an ultrasound for it to see, which of the glands is swollen. On the ultrasound, they couldn't actually find anything, but that's okay, because I have a nuclear test coming up where they're going to inject my neck with radioactive dye, and then hopefully they should be able to see that on some cameras, some kind of X-ray kind of cameras. I don't know how it works. So I guess this means I'll have a glowing green neck for a wee while. Nah, I'm kidding on. So, what's the treatment plan going to be? Well, surgery was discussed as a possible option, and actually that's the option that I think that they're going to go for. I had that confirmed that, you know, even though they couldn't find anything on the ultrasound at the time, they still want to go ahead with surgery to remove the one of the parathyroid glands, but they're doing they're trying to scan them now to see which one could be the faulty one. If they can't find it, it seems that you know, the surgery will have to take a bit longer. The surgeon's going to have to go in there and actually see which of the glands is broken. So yeah, I mean that is a bit nerve-wracking. Okay, the surgery isn't really anything too bad. It's described actually as a mini surgery. Basically, what they'll do is they'll go in directly and then just weak out the problem gland, and then close up, and then that'll be me. Obviously, there's always risks with surgery. Obviously, I'm a wee bit afeard of the anaesthetic. You know, will I come out of it at the other end? You know, hopefully everything will be tickety-boo. But you know, it's I mean, the last time I had any kind of surgery of any sort was when I was 5 years old, and back then I would not let doctors touch me, which was a bit problematic. I believe my mother had to hold me actually so that the doctor could apply the anaesthetic. But with that, you know, that's the last time I had surgery, so you know, it's a bit nerve-wracking. When's the surgery going to happen? Well, I don't know, actually. It seemed I had an appointment. Well, I had an appointment with a nurse in December to get some samples taken, and then a follow-up appointment with a doctor at the endocrinology department to discuss the findings. And you know, he said that you know, it was going to take months for the test, a couple of months for the tests to come through, what have you. The way he was talking, like it was going to be months before anything was happening. But I've had the ultrasound, and you know, the nuclear test is actually coming up in just over 10 days or so. It's under a couple of weeks. So you know, things are actually moving quicker than expected. Obviously, I want the surgery to be as quick as possible, because I really don't want to be waiting and you know, getting anxious over it. I think you know, I think that is something that is. I think that is something that is a thing. I mean, obviously, those kind of feelings are going to be kind of mutual. People, you know, anyone else would want this to be over with, and if it's going to make me feel better, then of course I want it to be done as quickly as possible. So what am I hoping for after the treatment? I really don't know. I'd like to maybe feel a bit better. You know, I wouldn't mind if you know, hopefully if some of my depression symptoms, you know, it kind of takes the bloody edge off of it. You can. I guess that's what I'm hoping for, because to be honest, I just want to get on with my life. I want to, you know, I'd love to be able to go back to work, but I mean, unfortunately with my depression, I can't guarantee that I'd be feeling good from one day to the next. And you know, employers need that kind of unimpeachable reliability. You know, that you're yourself, that you're going to be able to turn up for work every day, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as they say. And not that anyone does, but I mean, that's certainly not something that I could guarantee any employer. You know, and the feeling of depression and lethargy and what have you, you know, just trying to be able to put into work what I can. Obviously, you know, as work is concerned, I do my volunteering with the local disability charity, you know, of which Retrofest is a part. you know, I do manage computers and what have you. But yeah, I mean, I obviously, you know, I want to start feeling better. I mean, I don't know to what extent the parathyroid or even my thyroid, I think hypoactivity is actually contributing to my depression. My vitamin D obviously contributes quite a bit, but you know, this depression has basically taken nearly a decade away from me now. It's 2018, and I've just basically been stagnant since 2010. And, you know, damn it, those are years that I'm never going to get back. Especially as those years were in my 20s, you know, when I should be at the prime of life. I should be, you know, doing stuff. I don't feel like I've done much of anything during my 20s. I mean, you know, I do try hard to get stuff done. I mean, I guess people say that I have done a lot of stuff and that, you know, my volunteering is good, and, you know, when I'm free cycling off computers and refurbishing computers for free cycle, that's a good thing to do. And it is. You know, I do enjoy doing all those things. I don't know, I'd love to have a job where I, you know, kind of help people with disabilities get access to IT and you know, actually get paid for it. And, you know, hopefully if I don't know if this treatment is going to enable me to do that. But, well, you never know. I mean, onwards and upwards, as they say. So what's happening next then? Well, I've got the nuclear test coming up with the radioactive dye, which is going to be fun. I'm going to really be looking forward to getting injected in the neck. Yeah. Right. Thanks for that. But I know that when the time for surgery comes, I'm going to try and book in at the Penumbra Respite Service. You know, so I can actually stay somewhere where other people are during the recovery period. And, you know, because of that, you know, the last time I was there, I actually had my ThinkPad T420 with me. And this will segue nicely into, I think, what probably will be the content of my next video. Because I found it really difficult the last time I was at Penumbra to play some games on the T420 because of the smaller screen. So because these appointments have actually came a lot quicker than I expected, you know, I'm there kind of optimistically hoping the surgery is going to come quicker than expected, and you know, obviously I want to stay at Penumbra for that, so that's going to be coming a lot quicker than I expected. So as a result, I've actually upgraded from my ThinkPad T430 to a 15-inch laptop to take with me, actually. So I think that is going to be the subject of my next video, which will be coming up. But yeah, so that is what is going on in my life as of now. Sorry this video's been a bit rambly, but at the same time, I hope you've enjoyed it, and obviously I will keep you all updated with progress as things go on. You know, and if anyone, you know, kind of wants to share anything with me, or you know, if any of you have you know, maybe going through similar issues and have actually kind of found this video to be positive, then I very much appreciate it. So thanks for watching, everyone, and please join me for my next video. Oh, before I do go, one thing, just a wee thing I wanted to mention. I have actually started on Patreon, so you know, there should be a link coming up to that. So if you want to actually become a Patreon of mine, then you'll get early access to my videos. You'll get immediate access as they're uploaded, rather than on the usual Tuesday slot. And the reason I've done this is because, you know, I kind of feel that you know, I want to be able to, you know, feature more content on this channel, and unfortunately this stuff costs money, and it's just, you know, it's really difficult to actually get that in Brexit Britain. But not only that, I actually want to upgrade the quality of my production. So, I've I'm looking out hopefully this year for a dedicated camcorder. It'll only just kind of be a second-hand candy ham or something like that. But that's what I want. An actual camcorder to actually film my videos, and maybe down the line probably get a dedicated mic for voiceovers such as this. And that's basically why I've done it. So, if you want to support me on Patreon, I would definitely very much appreciate that. At the moment, like I said, I have the one tier. If Patreon becomes successful, then I might be able to start thinking about perks for upper tiers, things like that. But for now, it's just the one tier. I mean, if you donate $1, then you'll get immediate access to my videos. If you want to donate more than that, that's absolutely fine. But I really don't expect that. In fact, I don't expect anyone to donate at all. But if you wish to donate to my channel, help me make things better around here, please do so. And with that, I think it really is time to head off. So thank you for watching.